Our shadow isn't our enemy. It's the part of us waiting to be seen and heard without judgment. So today, we are going to meet the parts of yourself you've been trying to hide, deny, or fix, and discover why befriending them might be the most liberating thing you ever do. So let me have a quick question. How many of you have ever felt jealous of a friend's success and then immediately felt guilty about feeling it? But that is about feeling jealous, right? Or gotten irrationally angry at something small and then spend the rest of the day berating yourself for losing control. So, how many of you have done that? Thank you for the acknowledgement. So, welcome to your shadow side, the collection of feelings, impulses, and parts of yourself that you have been taught are bad or unacceptable. But what if I told you that these parts aren't your problem, but rejecting them is? So let's get real about what lives in your shadow. So we are talking about the jealousy that burns when your colleague gets the promotion you wanted, the anger that erupts when someone cuts you in line at the railway station, or the insecurity that whispers you're not smart enough when you're in a room full of achievers, the ego that secretly enjoys when others fail, the laziness that just wants to binge watch Netflix instead of working on your goals, and the greed that wants more money, more recognition, more of everything. In Indian culture, we're especially good at creating shadows. We are taught to be sanskari, to never show anger, to always be grateful, to put others first. But what happens to the parts of us that don't fit this mold? Here's what happens when you try to banish your shadow. It doesn't disappear, it goes underground and starts running your life from there. So let's talk about like projection. Ever notice how the things that annoy you most in others are often things you can't accept in yourself? The person who constantly complains about attention seekers might be secretly craving attention themselves. Or the one who judges others for being materialistic might be ashamed of their own desires for financial security. And then the shame spirals. When you label parts of yourselves as bad, you create internal shame. Let me talk about Rahul, a college student. He prides himself on being evolved and above competitiveness. But when his classmates get a better internship, jealousy hits hard. So instead of acknowledging it as natural, he spirals into self judgment. Oh, I'm such a terrible person for feeling this way. I'm petty and small. The shadow emotion was temporary, but the shame he creates about it lasts for weeks. And then the emotional explosions. Suppressed shadows don't stay quiet forever. They build pressure like a cooker without a whistle. So Meera is the family peacemaker who never expresses anger. For months, she swallows her frustration when her siblings don't help with household chores. And then one day, someone leaves the cup on the table and she explodes disproportionately. How many of you been through this? A family is shocked. Where did this come from? It came from months of denied anger finally finding a way out, and then missed opportunities. Sometimes your shadow holds your power. Deepak is terrified of being seen as pushy or aggressive. So he never advocates for himself at work. He watches less qualified colleagues get promoted while he stays invisible. His shadow holds his ambition, his drive, his willingness to compete, all labeled as bad, but actually essential for success. So, accepting your shadow doesn't mean acting on every impulse or becoming a selfish person. It means acknowledging all parts of yourself with curiosity instead of judgment. So instead of I shouldn't feel jealous, try saying I notice I'm feeling jealous. So, what is this telling me about what I want or value? So, let me share the shadow wisdom. Your anger might be telling you about your boundaries being crossed, or your jealousy might be pointing to dreams you've been afraid to pursue, or even your insecurity might be highlighting areas where you want to grow, or your laziness that might be your body asking for rest in an overachieving culture. So, the goal isn't to become a person who never feels jealous, angry, or insecure. The goal is to become someone who can feel things without shame, learn from them, and choose how to respond. So, let's try something powerful, right? Pick one shadow emotion you struggle with. Yes, it can be jealousy, anger, insecurity, laziness, whatever comes to your mind, just pick one. And now imagine this part of you could speak, right? Write a letter from your shadow side. And the script can be Hi, I'm your jealousy. I show up when you see others succeeding because I'm scared you are being left behind. I'm not trying to make you a bad person. I'm trying to protect you from feeling inadequate. My unmet need is to know that you matter, that your dreams are valid too, that you won't give up on yourself. Like the letter from the jealousy. So the script can be different, of course, but just acknowledging it. Or if you chose anger, hi, I'm your anger. I show up when people don't respect your boundaries because I'm trying to protect your dignity. I'm not destructive. I'm your inner guardian saying, this isn't okay. My unmet need is to know you'll stand up for yourself. And then respond with understanding. I see you, jealousy. I see you, anger. Thank you for caring about my dreams. Now, let's channel this energy into working toward what I want instead of resenting what others have. So, true peace isn't about being perfect, it's about being complete. It's about saying, yes, I have jealousy, anger, insecurity, and ego. And I also have love, compassion, wisdom, and generosity. All of these parts make up the full spectrum of my humanity. And when you stop trying to be a good person and start being a whole person, something magical happens. You stop judging others so harshly too, because you made peace with your own complexity. So, your shadow isn't a bug in your system, it's actually a feature. Those uncomfortable emotions, those unacceptable parts of yourself, they're not evidence that you are broken. They're evidence that you are human, complete, and beautifully complex. So here's your gentle challenge. This week, when you notice a shadow emotion arising, that is jealousy, anger, insecurity, instead of pushing it away, get curious and ask it, what are you trying to tell me? What do you need? And listen without judgment. And remember, the parts of yourself you've been trying to fix might actually be the parts waiting to be understood. So, integration begins with acceptance, and acceptance begins with the radical act of meeting yourself, all of yourself, with compassion. You're not too much, you're not too little, you're not broken. You are whole, shadow, and light. And that wholeness is your greatest strength. So stop trying to be perfect and start being complete. So, with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.